Chapter. What is the father's role?
My son, my little Vladimir, fell asleep. After his feeding, he played with something in the grass for a while. He touched a cone that had fallen from a cedar and tried to lick it. He watched the clouds sailing by in the sky. He listened to the birds' song, climbed a mound where the grass was a little thicker, curled into a ball, shut his eyes, smiling at something, and fell asleep. Anastasia ran off on some affairs of her own. I began roaming through the forest alone, thinking, noticing nothing around me. A feeling of joy and vexation simultaneously would not quit me. I sat down under a cedar on the bank of the lake and decided I would sit like this without stirring until I came up with what I, as a parent, could contribute to my child's development. I had to think of something so that he would sense that his father was what was most important for him. When Anastasia walked up at first, I didn't feel like talking to her. It was her laughter that had distracted my son from me. Anastasia sat next to me quickly, clasping her knees, and thoughtfully gazed at the lake's calm water.
Please don't be angry at me. Your interaction looks so funny. I couldn't help myself.
It's not about me being angry.
Then what?
In their letters, many readers ask about raising children. They ask me to question you about your system of raising children and to describe it in the next book. But what is there to describe? There is no system, quite the opposite. You have some kind of anti-system here. For instance, the reader might ask what fathers should do in this kind of situation.
You defined it very well. An anti-system. Describe that.
Who cares about that? People are searching for authoritative books that tell them what they should do with their child when he's 1 month, when he's 2, and so on. They schedule the child's day by the hour. Books suggest feeding timetables. They schedule child-rearing activities depending on the age, but here there is complete indulgence of the child's whims. Liberty Hall.
Tell me, Vladimir, what would you like to see our son be when he grows up?
What do you mean? A happy, sane, successful person, of course.
Are there many happy people among your acquaintances?
Happy? Well, there may only be a few completely happy people. Everyone has something that's not quite right. One doesn't have enough money. Another has family problems or suffers from various illnesses. But I would like our son to avoid every kind of hardship.
Think. How can he avoid them if you knowingly force him into the system by which everyone is raised? Maybe there is some reason for the fact that, despite all parents wanting to see their children happy, the children grow up and turn out like everyone else, not very happy.
Reason in what? If you know, then tell me.
Let's think this over together.
People, including specialists and all kinds of scientists, have been thinking about this for a long time. That's why they've created different child-rearing systems scheduled down to the hour in order to find the optimal one.
You should look around more closely, Vladimir. The trees are growing, the grass and flowers. How can you schedule in advance the day and hour to water them? Are you going to water flowers when the water from the heavens washes them, or only when some expert has prescribed the watering date and time?
That's going overboard. This is nonsense, not an example of raising children. That doesn't happen in life.
But it happens all the time in life. Every system is only a system. It is always aimed at taking the heart and soul away from the little person and submitting him to a system so that he grows up like everyone else, fit for the system. This has been going on for centuries, discouraging human insight in the soul, keeping a person from unfolding in all his beauty with his God-given soul, given to him, to the master of all the universe.
Hold on, don't get worked up. Speak calmly and in normal language. What does there need to be so that children grow up with a free soul, as you put it, as masters of the universe, happy as God wanted it?
You have to stay out of their way, and in their sight see them as God wanted. The desire of all the forces of light in the universe aims to convey all the best of the universe to every person born. Parents' duty is not to shut out the creating light with artificial dogmas. For centuries there have been disputes on Earth over which system might be the wisest, but think about it yourself, Vladimir. Debate is possible where the truth has been shut out. One can discuss endlessly in fruitless debates as to what is in a room where the door is shut. All you have to do is open the door and it becomes clear to everyone. There's nothing to debate if each can see the truth.
So who will ultimately open that door?
It is already open. Now you just have to open your soul's eyes and see, to understand.
Understand what?
You were asking me about systems, about schedules and routines. You said that someone sets them forth in books for people. But just think, Who can speak more clearly than the Creator himself about his own creations?
The Creator doesn't say anything. He has been silent to this day. No one hears his words.
There are many different meanings for one and the same words thought up by people. The Creator speaks with each patiently and with love through his imperishable and beautiful works. The rising of the sun and the glow of the moon, the soft fog and the gentle dew that plays with the sunbeam, which has gathered up the heavenly blue. There are many clear examples in the universe. Look around. They touch you and everyone.
After that, if I were to set forth what Anastasia said about raising children, it would probably end up exactly opposite of what most of us do. I've already mentioned that their entire ancient clan and Anastasia herself treat the newborn like a god or an immaculate angel. They consider it inadmissible to interrupt the child's thought process. Her grandfather and great-grandfather could spend a prolonged period of time just observing little Anastasia enthusiastically examine a bug or a flower or think about something. They tried not to distract her with their presence. They would only start interacting when the child herself pays attention and wants to interact. Anastasia mentioned that when I was watching little Vladimir examining something in the grass, he was apprehending not only the bugs, but the entire cosmos. According to her, a bug is a more perfect mechanism than anything made by man, especially a primitive erector set. A child who has the opportunity to interact with these perfect creatures himself becomes more perfect than from interacting with non-living primitive objects. In addition, she says, each blade of grass and bug are interconnected with the entire universe and subsequently helps the child comprehend the universal essence and himself in it, his purpose. Artificially created objects do not have this connection and set the wrong priorities and values in the child's mind. To my comment that the conditions in which she and now our son were being raised differ greatly from those of the children in our civilized world, she replied as follows.
Still in his mother's womb, and especially when he appears outwardly in the world as an apparently helpless child, the forces of universal light rejoice in the anxious hope that the newly arrived, immaculate, God-like person will be their good ruler, and that the light of love will strengthen from the earth. The Creator foresaw everything for him. The universe is prepared, with its bug, tree, blade of grass and outwardly fierce animal, to be a good nanny to this outwardly tiny little person, the Creator's great creation. In a surge of inspiration of light, the Creator creates man. The earthly paradise was created for him. No one and nothing is more powerful than the Creator's highest creation. His surge of love and inspiration of the light is already instantly part of each person born into the world. Of all the creatures of the vast universe, only one thing can affect his destiny by coming between God, heaven, his lucky star, and man.
You mean to say there is something more powerful than God in the world?
There is nothing more powerful in the world than divine inspirations, but there is a being similar to him in power and capable of standing between God, the kindest teacher, and the angelic infant man.
Who is this? What is his name?
That being is the human parent.
What? How can parents wish unhappiness on their own child?
Everyone wishes for happiness, but they have forgotten the way to it. This is why they commit violence despite good intentions.
Can you prove this?
You were talking about the different systems of child-rearing. Think about it. They vary, but the truth is one. This alone speaks to the fact that many are being led down the wrong path.
How can you determine the true system?
Try to look at life with an open soul. Clear your thoughts of fruitless bustle, and then you will see the world, the creator of the universe, and yourself.
Where are ordinary eyes, and where are the souls? Who can sort that out? Speak more specifically about all this, and in simpler turns of phrase. You were saying that your speech would be like mine, but you're speaking differently. Your idiom throws me off. I can tell you speak differently.
Only slightly differently. You will be able to remember the main thing. My speech is mixed with yours. Don't worry, don't be shy over your combinations of words. Your speech will be understood by many people. For many souls, it will open up what is inside them. Let the poetry of the universe come true in it.
What does all this lead to? I don't want anyone to change my language.
But weren't you insulted when a journalist called your language coarse? I and those who read can make it so that your coarse language sounds the best it can.
All right, say that can happen. But for now, I'd rather hear simple language. The problem is so complex, it's incomprehensible. How does this happen? Why is it that the parents shut off the road to happiness for their child, if in fact that's so? I have to be convinced of that first.
Fine. If you want to be convinced, recall a scene from your own childhood.
But that's hard. Not everyone can remember their infancy.
Why? Isn't that because your memory, sparing your feelings, cuts off what is fruitless and empty? It tries to do away with any hint of despair, and to erase what you experienced in your mother's womb as well. It senses the world's abuse through your mother's sufferings. If you like, I shall help you remember.
Sure, help me. What happened then and slipped from my memory?
You don't want to remember how you, master of the universe, lay alone and helpless in your crib, swaddled as if tied up. Smiling, your parents decided for you when you should eat and when you should sleep. You wanted to be thinking everything through and understanding it all. But all too often they toss you up toward the ceiling, hooting. But why? You barely had time to think. When you grew up a little, you saw many things that did not have words or souls around you, but you weren't allowed to touch them. You could only touch what was offered to you. You reconciled yourself to this, and tried to make sense of what was good about the toy presented to you. But you couldn't find anything in this absurd, primitive thing that wasn't and couldn't be there. Still, you searched. You did not surrender completely. You touched, and you tasted, but in vain. You did not find the answer. That was when the one born to be the ruler of the universe faltered for the first time. You decided that you could not solve anything. You were betrayed by those who gave birth to you, and you betrayed yourself.
You're talking about events from my life. Was I any different from any other child?
I'm speaking specifically about you, and about those hearing me at this instant.
You mean there are many rulers of the universe if each of us was born that? How can that be? What kind of ruler is it, if many rule one and the same thing? Or should there be many universes?
The universe is one, unified, indivisible, but each has his own space in it, and the whole depends on each person.
So where is it, my space?
Lost, but you will find it.
When did I manage to lose it?
When you gave up.
What do you mean by gave up? I was like all children.
Like all children, believing in the goodness of those close to you, in your parents, you suppressed your desires more and more often, and you agreed that you were still insignificant and little and knew nothing. The sensations born in you by the violence against your childhood have accompanied you all through life, trying to be embodied afterward in your descendants. You went to school like everyone else. There they told you how man was just an ape, how primitive he was, how he foolishly believed in God, how there was just one leader who knew everything. His nation chose him. He alone was worthier and smarter than everyone. You enthusiastically recited poems glorifying that leader.
I wasn't the only one who glorified whoever they told me to. I myself believed in it then.
Yes. Many people recited poems. They vied with each other to see who glorified him best, and you strove to come in first.
Everyone did.
Yes. The entire system demanded that each shared the same aspirations. This is how each is violated. This is how the system strove to crush you in order to preserve itself. But after you'd lived part of your life, you suddenly found out that there were many systems and that they varied. Then you found out that man may never have been an ape, and the wisest of leaders was the most foolish of tyrants. You realized your generation had lived its life incorrectly. Now you have to live in another system. You became a parent. Without thinking, you gave your daughter over to the new system, as if to do her good, no longer thinking, as before. Perplexed, you don't shake your rattle. Having admitted the violence, you yourself commit violence against your own offspring. Superseding each other one millennium after the next, the different systems come and go, one after the other. Each has the same goal: to kill you, the ruler, and twist the wisest creator into a soulless slave. The system functions continuously through parents and through those who call themselves the wisest teacher. They formulate new teachings and thus new systems. If you look only a little closer, you can see clearly that it is moved by the same old intent: to separate you from God, to stand between you and God, and to force you to try to live and work for yourself, for you and God. This is the essence of any system, and you, Vladimir, have asked me to create another. I could not satisfy your request. Look around you. Try to comprehend with just your soul.
Tell me, Anastasia, what about our son? Living in the wild tiger among the beasts, he hasn't seen even a little violence.
Violence and fear are unknown to him. He is gaining more and more confidence that everything is subordinate to man, and that man is responsible for everything.
But isn't it violence, at least a little, when a bear licks his soiled bottom after his nap? Our son fell on his tummy when the bear licked him. When he started crawling again, she licked him a second time and he fell again. I could see that he didn't like that washing. That's why he grabbed the bear by the snout so she would stop pushing him with her tongue.
And the bear immediately stopped licking him. A little later he will understand the significance of this procedure, but right now he takes it for the bear's play. He himself is playing with the bear and he wants her to chase him.
You said man is the wisest in the universe, but our son is being raised by wild animals. This isn't normal. On television, they told the story of a man who had fallen among wolves as a baby. When he grew up and people caught him and returned him to civilization, he couldn't talk like a human for a long time. He seemed mentally handicapped.
For our son, all the beasts around are not teachers but good nannies, clever and sincerely in love with him. There's no doubt they are prepared to give their lives in an instant for their little man.
Did it take you long to train them like that? Did your grandfather and great-grandfather help you?
Why train them? The Creator did all this long ago.
But how could he predict everything in advance, teach every last animal what to do, and at what moment? In the glade, when I was watching our son, he noticed the squirrels and liked one of them. He reached out to it, smiled, and said, "Eh." The squirrel dashed toward him, the very squirrel he liked. Vladimir played with it, took its paw, and stroked its tail. How could the Creator have predicted that situation and taught the squirrel?
The Creator is wise. He did everything in a much simpler and more brilliant way.
How?
Someone who lacks aggression, self-interest, fear, and the many dark thoughts that enter later, emanates the light of love. It cannot be seen, but it is stronger than the light of the sun. Its energy is life-giving. The Creator made it so that only man possesses this great ability. Only man. He alone is capable of warming everything alive. This is why everything alive is drawn to him. Our little Vladimir noticed the squirrel, rested his gaze on just one, focused his intention on it, and his warmth went out to that squirrel. It felt the warmth and rushed to the source, and it liked playing with him. Our son can summon any animal this way. Thanks to the Creator, all newborns have these abilities when they are in a dimension of love, and nothing has yet destroyed this wonderful ability. The dimension of love originates in the mother's womb and afterward only expands. Only man can spoil or improve the dimension of love. Here my grandfather has trained an eagle. You heard that. In this way he brought something new in the dimension. From earliest times my forefathers, my fathers and mothers have striven to do this. Tomorrow will be an unusual day, and you will see what happens. Tomorrow will be an important day for the future.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of The Dimension of Love, Book 3 of the Ringing Cedars series, A Bird for Knowing the Soul.